Hello, you four. I've managed to get our reading book from school, so When the Mountains Roared, and hopefully we can continue reading it and finish it off while we're doing our home learning. Okay, so it's been a while since we read the last chapter, so I'm just going to recap that for you. So if you remember, Ruby was getting more suspicious of what was going on between her father and the two owners of the hotel, Toad and Stinger, as she'd nicknamed them. And she was asking her dad why he was arguing with them, why she could hear arguing the night before. But he was acting quite suspiciously, really, and as if he was trying to cover something up. So I think Ruby's trying to find out what's going on. And her and Praveen, her friend who she's met in India, is setting up a shrine with Ruby. So they were collecting things for that. So as Ruby's now settling more into her life in India, her dad now starts to think that maybe it's time for her to go to school. We're nearly out of drinking water again, says Dad the next day, strapping a large container to his back. I'm going to the spring. Want to come? I nod. I've always wanted to see the spring set high up in the mountains. Be back before dusk. Remember the leopards live in that area, said Grandma. Take a torch and Polly. Walk in front of me in case you slip, says Dad, once we're outside, hiking on the narrow path. Polly creeps beside us, low to the ground, stopping and sniffing the air along the way. I scan the trees for signs of leopard markings. The path ascends and we climb upwards before it levels out, and I hear the trickle of water. The natural spring turns out to be a pipe jutting out of the side of the slope, with water pouring into a concrete pool below. Where does it come from? I ask. Deep in the ground, said Dad. It's safe to drink because there's nothing to contaminate it. Although animals use it too, so we still need to boil it first. He kneels down. Pass me your container. I hand it to him and Dad holds it under the running water until the container overflows and he switches it with his. Hey, Ruby, he says. What? I've been thinking there isn't going to be much for you to do up here. I laugh. There's loads, look. I tell him what Praveen told me about the insects and the birds. And look at this, I say, unravelling the quill from my hair and handing it to Dad. Another porcupine quill. Dad looks at me puzzled. Well, the thing is, I found this great school. I can do school. Maybe it's in Praveen's village. It's in the next state and you'll have to board, but it has a fantastic reputation. My heart sinks as I realise what he's saying. You don't want me here any more? I ask. Oh, sweetie, it's not that. Public schools don't start until September. It's only June. What are you going to do until then? You need to do something with your time. I clench my fists into a ball. I am doing something. I grab my camera and flick through the photos. Look! My voice echoes around the mountains. Your mother went to boarding school, he says, ignoring my photos. She hated it, I say. That's not true. It will be good for you. You'll make lots of friends. I screw the lid onto my water bottle with my shaking hands. You may as well have left me in Australia. I'm not going. Come on, Polly. I turn and run off through the trees. Ruby, wait! I hear Dad trailing behind with the heavy water container. I speed up. I don't want him seeing my stinging eyes. I run blindly until I realise I've reached the tree. It's the only place I feel like being right now. I don't want to talk to anyone. I'm even hoping Praveen's not there. I sit on the one of the low branches with my head in my hands. Bandar climbs down and wraps her silky arms around me. She picks through my hair. I'm sorry I didn't bring any food, I say miserably. Seeing Bandar without her mum makes my chest ache with sadness. I hope she finds you soon, I whisper. A while later the three shakes as Praveen climbs up. What happened? He asks as he sees my teary face. Dad's sending me away. I don't want to leave. Where? He asks, feeding Bandar fresh fruit and peanuts. Boarding school. I straighten up. Maybe I could run away and become a shepherd like you. I force a smile. Sure, he says, but I know he's just trying to make me feel better. Can I learn a new word today? I ask, trying to distract myself and thinking of Mum. What's snake? Samp, he says. It has the same kind of sound, I reply. I think I can remember it. Is Australia very different to here? Yes, I reply. Where I lived it was dry and dusty and flat, so flat you could watch the actual sun set on the horizon, and the moon was huge when it rose. I reach for my necklace. He catches it with his finger. That's pretty, he says. Did you make it yourself? Yes, it's a pebble. I found it with Mum, I say. I found my stuff with Dad. We carved it together. He hesitates. Is she dead, your mum? I nod. 18 months ago. I remember the day Mum and I discovered the stone. We were walking through the outback together. Mum stopped to look at a desert rose and I saw something shiny on the rock in the ground. It might be an opal, she'd said. We picked it up and took it home and cleaned it. It wasn't an opal. It turned out just an ordinary stone with a hole straight through it. I was disappointed it wasn't special, but then Mum threaded the string through the middle and fastened it around my neck. It is special, she'd said. It's the perfect stone for a necklace. I've never taken it off. A high-pitched calling starts up in the branches above me. Listen, says Praveen, pointing into the air. The monkeys. They move into the trees around us. The leaves rustle and the branches spring back as the langurs jump from them. We should move, said Praveen, climbing out of the branches and beckoning me down. We lean on either side of the trunk, looking up. The monkeys edge closer, calling to one another. A big one leaps into our tree. Bandar jumps into her arms, squealing, and they clasp hold of each other. Praveen smiles at me. Bandar grabs the long hair on her mother's belly. She looks down at us and meets our eyes as the mum bounds into the next tree, reunited with her troop. Bye, Bandar, I whisper. I hope you enjoyed the chapters today, children, and I'll hopefully put up over the next couple of days the next chapter so that we can finish our book over the next few weeks. Okay, have a good day and I will speak to you soon. Bye.